I told you I was bringing her back. Maddie, how old are you?
11.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what is this channel for?
People who have EDS.
You're going to have to speak up. I can't hear you.
People who have EDS.
People that have EDS?
IBS.
You have IBS?
Mast Cell.
Mast Cell. POTS. Those are cool things.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, whenever I discussed my story, I told you that we would bring May in. Really quick, I will give her history as much as I can. I had a normal, well, not really normal. I was on bed rest with her pretty much from 16 weeks on. I had a cerclage in place. She was born at 37 weeks. It was planned that I would be under general anesthesia to have her under a cesarean because I had a fusion in place and I did not want to have another epidural in that place because I already had arachnoiditis. I was not diagnosed with EDS at the time that I had her. And then so I had her at 37 weeks. She was fine. She talked on time, walked on time, crawled on time, just was awesome on time. About the age of 2 or 3, she started complaining whenever we went places that her legs hurt her and she'd ask us to carry her places. She would get really tired quickly. She would fall asleep like a pretzel, like most kids do, you know.
With my legs over my head.
Yeah, like a pretzel. We really thought that the whole, hey, carry me, my legs hurt, was just her being the baby and wanting the attention. And now that we know that she has EDS, it was her knees dislocating and her ankles dislocating. And I'm an incredible parent for that because at the time I didn't know for myself that wasn't normal. I on hands of God, had no idea that people walk around and their knees don't slip out of place frequently, or they can go up a flight of stairs and their hip doesn't slip out of place. That they can run and their ankles don't slip out of the way. I thought that was normal.
Yeah, we thought it was normal to stand up whenever you're done in bed and almost pass out.
Yeah, we thought almost blacking out was totally normal because I do it and it happens to me, so it must be normal, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. So whenever she was about 3 or 4, she started having severe gastric issues. She started having, she couldn't tell the difference after potty training. She couldn't tell the difference between number 1 and number 2. She couldn't tell the difference between the urge. She's 11 now and still can't tell the difference between the two. I can ask her, Maddie, did you go pee or poop? Which one is it? And she's like, I don't know. We'll see when I get there.
Yeah. It's like opening a Kinder Joy egg. You never know what's going to be inside.
So we started out down the path of her primary care physician saying, oh, maybe she's constipated, you know, that whole thing, and here, give your kid 8 million pounds of Miralax, and that'll clear things out. And,
totally.
That didn't work for us for a lot of reasons, especially, and I'll explain later, but Miralax is not the best thing for EDS POTS people. It's not.
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Boo. So here's so they can tell so they don't lose their little face.
I'm being sunken into the water.
I know. Okay, so we went through that with her PCM. We eventually got sent to a gastro. The gastro saw us and was like, oh, well, I think she has IBS. Like, definitely she has IBS. So let's put her on medication to help calm the spasmodic intestines. Okay, so that didn't work. She was still cramping severely when she'd go to the bathroom. We changed her diet. We made it no dairy. We made it no gluten. We did a FODMAP diet. We did elimination diet.
What's a FODMAP diet?
We did it. We did eating carbs before protein. We did protein before carbs. We did eating at this time and not at this time. We did everything under the flippin' sun. Okay, and then it was, oh, well, maybe she has, maybe that's reflux. So she was put on ranitidine or Zantac pretty early on. And then we had an EGD done, and they tested her for celiac and all kinds of stuff. Her dad has EOE, so they looked to see if she had that. That was negative. So we went through that, and then the gastro said, well, you know what? Maybe it's a pain component. Since she's complaining of so much pain, let's send her to a pain doctor. Or not her gastro, but her PCM. So her PCM sent her for to see physical therapy because he noticed in clinic that her joints were hypermobile. Like super hypermobile. Her knees float around. It's bananas. So he sent us to physical therapy to help toughen up those joints, and sent us to a pain doctor. It took us a long time to get in to see a pain physician, and when we got in to see this person, I came in and said, hey, by that time I had an EDS, POTS and Mast Cell diagnosis of my own. She had seen a rheumatologist with her brother, and she had been diagnosed with EDS as well. So we knew by the time we saw the pain doctor that she had EDS. And the pain doctor, one of the first things she said to me, she said it, the PT that fell in the pain, so the pain management group was PT, a pain psychologist, and a physician. And all three of those departments were really fast to say, okay, and not so many words, okay, crazy lady, all of your stuff is your stuff. Your daughter's a completely different person. And I understand that. I get that. But when my daughter is presenting in precisely the same ways that I am, and we know that it's a genetic condition, and it can be different in each person, but I knew that she had all the same stuff that I did. So it was me saying, okay, okay, can we just test for the POTS? And okay, we'll test for it. And what? Oh, guess what? She has POTS. Okay, can we test her for Mast Cell? Can you check her histamine and her tryptase levels? And what?
I have it.
She had Mast Cell. So at the end of it all, we were released from the pain doctor and told, oh, well, now we know what everything is. See you later.
Like no apology or anything?
It wasn't an apology. There was, it's fighting. When you have EDS, POTS, Mast Cell, when you have these conditions, you are going to learn really quickly that you deal with physicians. Some have zero bedside manner, which is any condition. Some were completely ignorant and actually Google stuff in the clinic with you and whatever. And then you have people that have a very large ego, and they don't want someone else coming in and telling them how to do their job or suggesting something that they haven't suggested. And that's what we ran into with the pain management doctor. She was not a fan of my medical terminology. She actually asked me what my medical background was, and because I was using big words. And yeah, we just weren't a great fit for each other. Something else, and she didn't know this part, even though she partially diagnosed her with Mast Cell, she didn't know that people with Mast Cell, and here you are out there, parents, ibuprofen, naproxen, isn't really Motrin, isn't the best thing when you have Mast Cell. It kind of perpetuates a flare and a reaction. I don't know why, but that's what my allergy immunologist told me whenever he diagnosed me with that. And I did notice if I took anti-inflammatories of any type, I would be more reactive. I would have more migraines, more stomach cramps, and that's how she was. The pain doctor put her on a high dose of naproxen, and she had severe stomach cramps. And it was me taking her off of it and noticing, oh, hey, look, don't have severe stomach cramps. So for her, she falls under a dysautonomia physician who monitors her PATs. And from that person, our diet was already pretty much gluten-free, organic, simple ingredients. We don't really eat out very often. And when you eat poorly or you eat highly processed foods with mast cell, it causes a lot of pain in your body. It causes flares as gastric issues, stomach cramping, body pain, flushing, headaches, exhaustion, right? And then that makes your POTS worse, and the POTS is regulating really low blood pressure. And that was another thing with that pain doctor. She knew she was on, that she had POTS, and she put her on a medication that was known to lower your blood pressure, and she took it one time. And I had questioned her whenever she gave it to her, and the very first thing that came up is that it lowered your blood pressure. And she said, no, it's fine, it's fine. I gave it to my daughter, and she went to bed, and I happened to go in to see her and like to kiss her goodnight, and she looked like a corpse. She was purplish blue and had a very, very extremely low blood pressure. And yeah, that was kind of dangerous. So that's kind of the stuff that we go through with physicians, is you're always on guard, and you're always hoping that this doctor knows what they're saying and what they're doing. Another thing, recently we had an appointment where the physician, a different physician, was telling my daughter and myself, hey, listen, all she has to do is go to therapy, strengthen up those muscles, those tendons, hold those joints into place, and her POTS is going to be better, her body's going to feel better, her joints are going to stay in place, everything's going to be better, and yeah, that's all you have to do. It's going to fix all your problems. And I stopped that person and I said, you know, what you're saying is dangerous. It's dangerous in her care, and it's dangerous to a family dynamic. I know what it's like to have all these conditions. And I know that on paper, this may sound really cut and dry, but there's things that you have to factor in. If she catches a cold, bye, everything's crap forever. It's hard to come back from. It knocks you out. If she pulls a muscle, if she tears a muscle, if a joint keeps slipping out repetitively, it causes this domino effect that causes EDS and Mast Cell and POTS flares, and that's dangerous to a family dynamic, because it's really hard for children to explain their pain. It's really hard for adults to understand the pain if they don't have the conditions themselves. You know, your kid complaining of being dizzy, laying on the floor and not wanting to get out of bed, their heart racing, pale, low blood pressure, stomach cramping, sleeping a lot, waking up after sleeping and joints being out of place and then being in a lot of pain. That is hard to understand as a parent if you don't have the same condition. And it's even harder whenever you're following doctor's orders, whenever someone tells you something like that, like just go to therapy, drink your water, and everything's gonna be great, right? There's so many variants there. It's not very responsible to say or do to a family that's going through that. So let's see here. She sees a dysautonomia specialist. She's seen a cardiologist. Another part about EDS is when you get diagnosed, abdominal aortic aneurysms are common. Also, aortic dissection is common. And I think every type of EDS, it can happen. Mitral valve prolapse is common. So you need to have your heart checked out. It's different. Every person, I was told every year by one physician, I was told whenever she hits puberty, and then every 5 years. So it's different, but you do, if you get when you get the diagnosis, that's part of it. You have your abdominal aorta, your aorta and your heart looked at, and the valves of your heart, that you have an echo done. That is really, really important. And so she's a cardiologist, gastro. She has a phenomenal gastro doctor that, are you going to sit up or are you going to take a nap? That understands EDS, understands Mast Cell, and understands dysautonomia, the POTS. And he takes all that into account. What else? What am I missing?
What happened to school?
Oh, yeah. Next, we'll talk about what we do at school. Now we're on to the school stuff. So we had, when she had her EDS diagnosis, and then when she got her initial EDS diagnosis, we had a 504 care plan put into place at school, and that involved a note from her physician stating the diagnosis, and there were a few suggestions of accommodations to make at school, but it was really a meeting with her nurse and her teachers, and with her to advocate and say what she needs. So what do we do at school for you?
At school, I can go to the bathroom whenever I need to.
Whenever she needs to.
Because of IBS.
Mm-hmm.
I have an elevator pass, and I have a rolly backpack, because I can't go upstairs without my knees slipping out, my hips slipping out, and also holding a backpack up the stairs.
Yeah, ribs go.
And shoulders go bye-bye.
And she has, you'll see in this channel, we have a video that we made almost a year ago of us putting her ribs back into place, because she has scoliosis as well, just a small little bit of scoliosis at the top of her spine, and she's young and she has EDS, so ribs pop in and out of place. So she's learned how to put a lot of joints back into place. She knows how to put her knees, her ankles, her fingers, wrists, and ribs back into place. And her SI joints too. So she has step back and tall. Oh my gosh, this blanket is so ratty. Could we get any ratty? Our dogs like to eat our blankets. You'll get to see our dogs in this channel at some point in time. They're hilarious, and I'm sure they'll hopefully bring you dog lovers some good giggles, because they're clowns.
Yeah, we have.
No, let's talk about your school real fast, and then we'll eventually bring in our dogs. So at school we have she has an elevator pass, a rolly backpack. She has a heating pad. Yeah.
And slipper came off.
It's fine. They can't see your slipper, sweetheart.
So.
Yeah,
I can go to the nurse whenever I need to. My mom makes a special balm, because we need to know all the ingredients that are in stuff.
Yeah, we make our own lotions, mostly our own chapstick, and I make a muscle balm with essential oils and beeswax and some different kinds of butters and oils that helps to release the muscles without that menthol gross, because she doesn't like that smell or the feeling of a lot of lidocaine or what are the other, like Tiger Balm and stuff. She doesn't like that. So there is, after wasting, and I'm not kidding when I say this, hundreds of dollars trying to figure it out, I came up with a formula for a a balm that we use that she uses at school, and it releases those muscles, and it actually really helps with neuralgia as well, with nerve pain. So she has that at school. She has a camp mat at school that we bought from REI. That's one of those inflatable mattresses. We bought it on sale. It has like a memory foam. It's like a 3-inch one that she can, it doesn't take up much space at school. She can lay flat whenever she needs to, whenever she's having issues at school. What else?
So my teachers, they have like special teacher chairs, like they have rocking chairs, machine.
You don't have to talk about your teachers' names. Oh. That's okay.
So my teachers, one has like a foam chair, kind of, not really a foam chair, but like a foam scooty chair. So I can have something like if I'm having a real bad pain day. I usually sit on that a lot, but I can always bring that over to my desk. And
I thought of something too. When she got diagnosed, it was really hard because at first, because before we had a care plan in place, it was the kids saying, not understanding why she was always in the nurse's office, or why she got to go to the bathroom, or why she got to lay flat, or why she got to do this or that. A really empowering thing for her, and my hat goes off to her nurse, who has been amazing. Her nurse and her teachers these last 2 years have been fantastic. She went into her classroom and with her nurse talked about EDS and POTS and Mast Cell, and it was really empowering for her to talk about why she needed the things that she needed and how they help her, and the amount of pain she's in daily, and how she's able to function. She was so proud of herself for doing it, and the nurse and her teachers were so proud of her for being able to do that. So if you have a child with chronic pain or special needs of any sort at school, I really highly suggest that you give your child that opportunity, or you ask for that opportunity for your child to be able to explain why they need the special attention that they do. Because I will tell you, my daughter and I both, we don't want to be different, like, at all. We want to be normal. We want to be able to go out to eat dinner and eat whatever the hell we want, right? Yeah. We want to be able to go shopping all day and not feel like dying at night. We want to be able to go on road trips to see family and not be different. But fact of the matter is, we're different, and the only thing we can do is make accommodations for it and roll with it, huh? Our bulldog's barking. It's a 60-pound bulldog, and he sounds like a chihuahua.
And he's very fat.
He's very fat, and he sounds like he's dying because he can hear our voices. So let's see, school. I think we covered it, right? She doesn't go outside because of Mast Cell, extreme heat outside for POTS. Too cold. She doesn't go outside under 40 degrees. She doesn't go outside to play. We live in Colorado, so that's a real thing. They play until like what, 20 degrees outside, and then you guys stay inside? I don't know.
Yeah.
So she stays inside on really, really cold days, so she doesn't start a flare. With the POTS and the Mast Cell, the body does not know the difference between good stress and bad stress. So Sunday nights or nights after a break are a blast in our house. It is a big giant ball of anxiety, and her body just completely freaking out. She's excited for school. She loves school.
I'm the math freak in the class.
She's the math freak. But I mean, your body doesn't know the difference between good and bad stress. So let's talk really fast about what a flare looks like for you, for POTS and Mast Cell and EDS. So we live in Colorado. We live at elevation. So we don't really travel very often, do we? You want to sit up big and tall for me? So we, whenever we leave, we feel great-ish whenever we leave, right? And we go see family out of state. When we come back, it's the exhaustion from the trip, the trip itself being in the car or flying, but reacclimating to to the elevation is extremely hard on us with the POTS. And we literally for 2 weeks straight will lay around and drink like broken camels. Like we just drink electrolyte drinks and rest, and we're at the very end of Christmas break, so almost over the hump, right? Yeah. So a really bad POTS, mast cell, EDS caused flare for both of us, but especially for her. Means that she needs to, if we can't get ahead of it, it means extreme pain, extreme body pain, a heart rate that is very tachycardia, tacky, and it's very high for no reason, heart racing, very low blood pressure, fainting or near fainting. We actually have discovered that going to the ER, and we have a script. Now we have a script. Our dysautonomia doctor has a script in at Children's that whenever we come into the ER presenting with these symptoms, she is given a warmed bag of fluids, saline fluids, and that's not room temperature. It is actually warmed with the machine that they keep in the OR and the trauma rooms. It's an actual machine that the line runs through, and it warms the saline. And the reason for that, that we have found personally, and then other EDS people have found, and then we told our doctor about it, and it was new to her as well, is whenever you take in cold fluids, whether you drink them or you take them in an IV, it's a shock to your system. And your mast cells in your body already freaking hate your guts whenever you have mast cell. So when you do that, it's freaking out cells that are already irritated. So really cold causes issues. So when we warm those fluids, it allows her body to absorb them better, helps her recover better. And I tell you what, when you have an 11-year-old kid that is begging you for an IV, stuff's wrong. Right? I mean, it must be gold if that kid's begging you for an IV. So we didn't do it this time because flu is so rampant, and it's really hit Colorado the hardest in the United States right now. So we did not want to subject ourselves to possibly getting the flu and go into the ER. So we try to really tough it out at home. We have added salt tablets that I'm so proud she's able to swallow, along with electrolytes. But we have to take in 5 grams of sodium a day, on top of at least 96 ounces of fluids a day each, right? And that's if stuff is going right. Let's see what else. Okay, so let's talk about what is the hardest thing with EDS that you want kids out there to know, that you understand, and that you want parents to, or family members that don't know anything about it. What would you tell them?
I lost it, no. I would say that.
How about the pain?
I would say that. Darn it, I had it a second ago.
We talked about this before. The hardest thing is the pain and people believing you.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah. And also your friends and your family understanding your limits, and just trusting the fact that you're doing what you can to be present and to also take care of yourself. We just went on vacation, And we saw family that we don't really get to see very often. We use Facebook and stuff to keep them updated and kind of to educate people about where we're at and things that we have to do to stay normal. And it was really hard for some family members to understand why with Mast Cell, it's not just stuff that you put into your body. It can be environmental. You can have environmental triggers from fragrance, from smoke, from chemicals. I mean, there's so much. There's a lot of people that have Mast Cell, which we tried with her because we thought that at school may have a trigger. So we tried a carbon filtered mask for her. As of right now, she I don't know. We keep fragrances down at the house. We don't burn candles. We do use essential oils in the house occasionally, but we don't burn candles. We don't have like plug-ins or any like scent things. So our house is running, doggy smelling and pretty plain all the time.
Yes.
But it was really hard for family members to understand why she couldn't be in we were in a restaurant, and we just don't say the name of the restaurant. We just gone in there, and it was really smoky in there, and it was because of the way that the food was cooked, and it was really hard for her to be there. And we had some family members that thought that she was overreacting and being dramatic. And then we had some family members that got up from their seat. There's a lot of us there. They got up from their seat and came over and sat down next to her by the door, as close to the door as possible, to be with her. And that was the thing that helped her make it through dinner. And
also it was very good.
And it was really good food. We want you to understand why we can't go to some things, why we can't do some things, or why we have to quit doing some things with you. We want you to not quit inviting us to do things. At least ask us. And if you don't understand why things are the way they are, ask us. If you don't understand why we are taking this medicine or that medicine, ask us. Don't say hurtful things like, oh my God, do you really need all that medicine? Do you really need to sleep for that long? It's so rude for you to sleep for that long.
You're supposed to be hanging out with us.
You're supposed to be hanging out with us. Why can't you go and run and do this? Why can't you jump on the trampoline? Why can't you go to this play area? Why can't you go watch this movie?
Why can't you stay in the pool?
Yeah. Why can't you stay in the pool forever in the heat? Why can't you stay in the hot tub forever? Why can't you do this and that? You develop a really thick skin with these conditions. You also learn how to be very self-aware and very preserving your health. Let's see. What else, Madeline? My sweet, sweet little May.
Hey everyone, my name's May, and
what did we just do, honey?
We just did a video, my story, of what it's like to have all these different things, like EDS, IBS, Mast Cell, POTS, asthma,
Chronic pain. Yeah, so what do we want people to do? So let us know what you want to talk about next. Like, do you want us to just talk about POTS and what helps us? What things help us get through the day? Mast Cell, stuff that we use for that. Let us know what you want to see on the next one or questions you have, right?
Yeah. And we will respond. We will respond once a week.
Oh, baby. There you go.
We will check comments once a week. We will post videos once a week. Unlike this week, we did 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tell us what you guys want to know what you want us to do, we could do a fun activity maybe, challenges.
Challenges. Okay. Well, let's
And
pop in
more.
here together. Let's pop in together.
Come on.
Okay,
Let's
guys. Thanks for being part of our channel today. We hope we didn't bore you to tears. We hope we educated you a little bit, and we look forward to seeing you again really soon.
And sorry, this was a very long video.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. Bye.
Bye.